Hello and welcome to my very empty office. And I'm sorry about the terrible lighting, but this is the best I can do at the moment. So a while ago I wrote a Twitter thread about some unsolicited advice for early career academics on the job market, and I am on the job market, and I thought I would kind of go through some of those things. These are things that I do, sometimes obsessively, sometimes less obsessively, and they're things that I think can make the job application process run a bit more smooth. You want to take as much stress out of it as you can, obviously. So here are some of my tips and tricks and hard-earned wisdom for surviving the job market as an early career academic. First, keep your CV up to date. Always keep it up to date. When you do something new, put it on your master CV. That way, when you come to apply for jobs, you don't have to spend a lot of time updating your CV. You don't have to try and remember what you did or where was that conference or what was the date, because it's all just there. Have someone read your CV. Ask them to read it in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and 90 seconds. Maybe choose 3 different people. And see what they take from it. See what they get from your CV. If it's not laid out well, or if the information is not presented correctly, then the people who read your CV, who sometimes will only just flip through it, maybe aren't getting the best impression of what you have to offer. So CVs are important. Ask people to see copies of their CVs and cover letters and application forms and postdoc proposals and all the things that go into the application that you are currently writing. Only look at applications that have been shortlisted. Any application that has been shortlisted means that person is good enough to do that job, whether or not they get the job. It's so competitive that there are so many good people who don't get jobs that they should obviously get, because someone else should obviously get them too. So look at job materials, application materials from people who have been successful in getting shortlisted. It can sometimes be useful to also look at versions of their applications before they were getting shortlisted, so that you can see what they have done to improve, like what the jumps might be. But only do that if you have the time, if you are teaching full-time, if you are trying to finish your PhD and do hourly paid teaching or caring or whatever the case is, then you probably don't have time to do all that kind of stuff. Don't do it. Focus on the things that you can control. Put your energy into those things. Right. And on that, share your own application materials with your friends and colleagues when you've been successful, when you've been shortlisted, or whatever the case may be. When you got a job, offer to share your stuff, offer to read people's CVs, offer your help and assistance and proofreading and all of that kind of stuff. Don't share materials for jobs that you were not shortlisted for, even if somebody asks you for them. Say no. Direct them to somebody else. Okay, give some context as well for the job applications that you share, the job materials you share. Give a bit of context. So I didn't get a job, a full-time job, until my second year out of my PhD. So tell people that as you give them your life story on paper. Also actually tell them the context of maybe how difficult it is, maybe how easy it was for you. If that is the case, awesome for you. When you have a job interview, write down the questions you were asked as soon as you walk out of the interview room, and then share them. Share them with everybody. Put them online. I'm going to link below to Katherine McDonald's amazing resource of job interview questions. They are predominantly for UK-based humanities permanent jobs, but They will be useful to you no matter what field or what stage. I have used these extensively. Practice your questions out loud. Don't just write stuff down. Don't just read things. Don't just think about it. Practice out loud. You are going to have to say these things out loud. You may as well practice doing it. Practice makes perfect. At some point, if you are in a small field like mine, you will interview against a friend. You may get that job. They may get that job. Neither of you may get that job. Don't let it ruin your friendship. Jobs are jobs, but friendship and kindness is something bigger than that. The competition isn't between you. It's you against the system. The system is the problem, not you or your friend. So if your friend gets a job that you interviewed for, be happy for them. But don't be happy for them at the expense of your own feelings. It's perfectly okay to say to somebody, I'm really happy for you, but I'm devastated that I didn't get this job. I really wanted it, or whatever. And on the flip side, recognize that while your friend is probably happy for you, because they probably would rather you get the job than somebody they didn't know, it's also going to be hard for them because they were invested in getting this job too. So be supportive, be kind, be communicative. If you got the job, be the first one to say, dude, I'm really sorry. Your career isn't worth losing friends over. That is not just about job interviews. That sort of goes for lots of things. We live and work and breathe and study and in a competitive environment, and sometimes that can get a bit too competitive, and that's not a good place to be for anybody, and we do lose friendships. And I know because I have personal experience of this and spending a lot of time and energy trying to get a friendship back on track after losing it to weird, competitive, anxiety-related stuff. So there ends my thread, my rant, my unsolicited advice for dealing with the academic job interview process. No, application process. The academic job application process. A few passing words. It's hard, it sucks, it's awful. Online forms are terrible. Keep things up to date. Make sure you really carefully proofread everything you say, everything you send, and make it sure it all says the same thing. Make sure you're addressing it to the right person and the right institution, and you're talking about the courses at the institution that you're applying for and not the other one you're applying for. If you say you've got an article under review at X journal in your CV, but Y journal in your cover letter, that is going to ring alarm bells. Talk about yourself positively. And two final things. You all know at this point that I'm a massive, massive, massive fan of Karen Kelsky's adding a line to your CV every month. I'm going to do a whole nother video about that. So watch out for that. The second thing is look after yourself. Your health, your mental health, your physical health, your well-being is more important than academia. Academia is harsh. It will be harsh. It is harsh to practically everybody. There are people who look like they have all their shit together. Maybe they do. Probably they don't. I had this conversation just this afternoon where somebody was like, but you always look like you're so on top of things. And I'm like, really? Because I'm panicking right now. You just can't see it. So there you go. Be nice to each other. Be nice to yourselves. Be kind. It is the only way to be. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.